Hello everyone. You already learned in previous lecture that with an intermediate level of disturbance, a higher diversity in community could be promoted. However, since we cannot determine the level of disturbance, different disturbances will cause a different consequence in the community. In this topic, we will explore the changes in plant and animal communities and the mechanisms that involve along the processes. Succession is the change in plant, animal, and microbial communities in an area following disturbance or the creation of new substrate. Studies of succession show that communities and ecosystems are not static, but constantly change in response to the disturbance, environmental change, and their own internal dynamics. In many cases, the general direction of change in community structure and ecosystem processes is predictable, at least over the short term. Primary succession is succession that begins in an area with newly exposed geological substrates. For example, a volcanic explosion can create new land or sterilize existing areas. In another example, retreating glaciers also can have the same effect, leaving only exposed bedrock behind them. Succession begins when pioneer species starts to colonize the barren areas. Lichens and mosses are the most common members of pioneer community. Over time, as pioneer species die, organic matter is added to withered rock particles to form soil. As the soils develop, grasses and small herbaceous plants start to grow. More organic matter is added, and roots of plants aid in breaking up the rock material. This leads to the increase of nutrient availability, which later on open opportunity to higher species such as small shrubs and eventually trees to grow. This process is gradually occur until the community reach its stability. The stable community is a late successional community that is called the climax community. A climax community is a mature, stable community which is the final stage of ecological succession. This community remains the same throughout the time as long as it is not disturbed. However, a stable community does not always mean only ecosystem with big trees. There could be grasses in a field or cacti in deserts. Secondary succession occurs on a surface where an ecosystem has previously existed. It is the process when existing community is either fully or partially destroyed by disturbances such as wildfire, hurricane, and also human activities such as logging and farming. So, the regrowth of an area following a forest fire is a good example of secondary succession. Secondary succession proceeds faster than primary succession because soil survives the disturbance, so new and surviving vegetation can regrow rapidly. Next, you maybe want to ask, what mechanisms that drive ecological succession? To answer this question, scientists propose three alternative models for successional change, which are facilitation, tolerance, and inhibition model. The facilitation model proposes that colonies prepare an environment for later successional species. Meanwhile, the tolerance model suggests that modifications that early successional species impose on environment neither increase nor reduce rates of recruitment and growth of later successional species. Finally, the inhibition model proposes that once early colonies secure a place or resources, they inhibit subsequent invasion by other species or suppress the growth of species invading at the same time. Most studies of succession support the facilitation model and the inhibition model, or some combination of the two. That's all for the introduction of this topic. I hope After this, you can easily differentiate between primary and secondary succession. This is the end of the chapter Communities and Ecosystem. Next, you're going to look at ecology at the global scale in the topic Large-Scale Ecology. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, disturbance is not bad at all. Disturbances are important in ecosystem so that it can renew itself into maybe much better from previous stage. Thank you and have a nice day.